Hello my friends, it's Kathy, the Library Hunter. Yale University is a prestigious Ivy League school in the US, and today I will take you to Yale's most incredible library. Some call it a jewel box of rare books. Others compare it to a giant and mysterious vault surrounded by wild rumors whispered for decades. In this video, I'm taking you inside to uncover those myths and the real stories behind this library. This Beinecke Real Book and Manuscript Library is home to some of the world's greatest treasures, like a Gutenberg Bible and the first edition of Milton's Paradise Lost. This building is often called a jewel box for good reasons. Opened in 1963, it is still the largest building in America dedicated entirely to rare books and manuscripts. The collection began in the 19th century and grew rapidly, eventually outgrowing its space in the Sterling Memorial Library, which is another iconic Yale library, and I will make another dedicated video about it. With the support from the Beinecke family, Yale University was able to give these growing treasures a dedicated home. At its heart is a 6-story glass tower that holds about 180,000 volumes. But that's only the tip of the iceberg. Beneath the plaza lies a vast underground bunker, with room for over 1 million volumes connected by tunnels to Yale's other libraries, including, again, the Sterling Memorial Library. Every year, the library welcomes over 175,000 visitors from across the nation and around the world. People come not only to admire the building itself, but also to explore its permanent and rotating exhibitions, and also to take part in concerts, readings, and conferences that bring the space to life. As I circled the mezzanine around the tower, I couldn't help but stare. There's the Gutenberg Bible, the first book printed with movable type, the mysterious Voynich Manuscript filled with undeciphered writing and strange drawings, and countless rare manuscripts, maps, and broadsheets that tell the story of centuries past. But the Beinecke isn't only about ancient treasures. Alongside its medieval manuscripts and early printed books, it also preserves more recent cultural history. Letters, photographs, archives, even original scripts from modern storytelling. The building itself is as much a masterpiece as the collection. The Beinecke building is a mid-century modern at its boldest. From outside, it's a massive marble cube, but as soon as you step inside, you will meet with that glowing translucent. Walking the mezzanine, we can actually see how the design frames the book tower like a jewel on display. The design was so influential that, for example, the British Library later modeled its own glass case after Beinecke's tower, protecting their rare volumes. The walls are not made of glass or stone. They're made of dozens of thin Vermont marble panels, translucent enough for sunlight to filter through, but also thick enough to block harmful UV rays. We came on a rainy morning, but I can just imagine how, on a sunny day, that soft golden light would pour through and wash over the 6-story glass tower of books, making the whole place glow. And every detail of this building is designed with one mission: to protect books for centuries. The climate inside is kept at a strict 65 degrees Fahrenheit year-round, thanks to a carefully engineered HVAC system. It's like a life support system for literature. But for decades, there's been a couple of chilling myths about this building. One of the most famous legends says that if New Haven were ever hit with a nuclear attack, the Beinecke would descend underground and double as a fallout shelter. This story does make sense in the Cold War context, since many public buildings really did have shelters. But the truth is less dramatic. An underground stream runs right beneath the Beinecke, making such a feature impossible. But still, this is a myth that has survived for decades. And here is another chilling rumor. People say that if a fire ever breaks out, the library will suck out all the oxygen to protect the books, leaving anyone inside to suffocate. That sounds terrifying, right? Well, it's not true. And here's what actually happens. Instead of water sprinklers that would destroy the Braille books, the system releases gases like helium and energen, which stop combustion by lowering oxygen levels, but not enough to harm people. Even so, the airtight glass tower where the books are kept has created challenges. In the 1970s, a bookworm infestation spread inside, and normal sprays couldn't reach the pests. The solution back then was that every affected book was wrapped in plastic and frozen at minus 33 degrees for 3 days. That method worked so well that it's still used today for new acquisitions. So where did the spooky myth come from? Let me tell you the story. Back in the 1960s, when Beinecke first opened, the library installed a Carduck CO2 system to suppress fires. Carbon dioxide doesn't leave behind messy residue like water does, which is perfect for priceless manuscripts, right? But CO2 also pushes oxygen levels down, not enough to kill someone, but low enough that you can feel lightheaded. That little fact was enough to fuel generations of tour guide gossip. The idea that Yale built a death trap to save its books. And from there, the legend just spread. By the 1980s, the library switched over to a mix of halon and energen gases, safer for humans, though halon was later banned because it harmed the ozone layer. Then, during a $73 million renovation in 2016, Beinecke rewired the system completely. Today, it uses eCargo 25, a clean agent that is safe for both people and books, and environmental friendly too. So no, the library doesn't kill people in an emergency, but it does have one of the most advanced preservation systems in the world. It's quite fascinating how the myth refuses to die. A viral tweet in 2018 claimed that the oxygen-sucking story was true, and even though the poster later added proof that it was debunked, the rumor just kept spreading, popping up on Facebook, Instagram, even Reddit. Some commenters were skeptical, while others leaned into this drama, joking things like, books are sometimes more important than humans. It's almost like the myth took on a life of its own, because it fits so perfectly with the way people imagine a real book library should be: mysterious, dramatic, and a little bit dangerous. But at the end of the day, rumors are just rumors. The truth is, the Beinecke is doing everything possible to safeguard its treasures. Every system, the marble walls, the climate control, the fire suppression, everything is designed to make sure these materials survive 100, 200, or even 300 years from now. Then there's the myth about the library design itself. Some people say the building was meant to resemble a sheet of green stamps, those grocery store coupons from the mid-20th century, and that the exterior was supposed to be made of green onyx instead of marble. This connection somehow seems believable since the Beinecke family did help create the stamp company. But in reality, architect Gordon Bunshaft never considered green onyx, although he did toy with the idea of amber. The green stamp theory, however, only remains a favorite among campus tour guides. And another widespread myth of this library was that the volumes inside the glowing tower are just for the show, that undergrads are not allowed to use the Beinecke's books. The truth is that any student or faculty member can request to see the library's nearly 1 million volumes in the reading room downstairs. Only a handful of rare items like the mysterious Voynich Manuscript are restricted to serious researchers. But most of the time, those treasures are open to anyone at Yale who wants to dive into them. Even as someone outside of Yale, I was able to enter the building, walk along the mezzanine, admire the glowing tower, and browse the permanent exhibition of the Gutenberg Bible, the Audubon's Bird Book, and see the rotating displays. is really magical because photos online just don't capture the feeling of standing here, surrounded by a vault of human history. To me, this place really feels like a glowing jewel box, guarding the stories of humanity and keep them alive for generations yet to come. What do you think of this place? Comment down below and let me know. This is Kathy, the Library Hunter. Thank you for joining me on this adventure into one of Yale's most fascinating libraries. I will take you to other libraries at Yale in the next episode. And as always, thank you to my friends over San Jose State University iSchool for their continuous support of the channel Library Hunter. See you in the next library. Bye!